Guys, they've finally done it. They've finally given us a Megatron on the big screen that actually feels like Megatron. Not just some mindless savage beast that growls and looks like it's made of parts that are a culmination of compacted trash from the junkyard. I mean, like, look at, like, what even is this, bro? What were you guys thinking back in 07? I do really like live-action Megatron's head, like OG live-action Megatron, with the whole, Samurai the Last Night type of vibe Megatron they had going on. I am not a fan of that at all. I know a lot of people kind of liked it because they were like, oh, this is closer to G1 Megatron. You guys were just grasping. You guys were clawing, man. I mean, that is not G1 Megatron. You guys were just hoping to try to find something that could possibly be a good-looking Megatron on the big screen, and that was like a glimmer of hope that you guys got there, so you clung to it. But, I mean, can we just be real? Like, looking back now that we have a really good Transformers One Megatron on the big screen to look at and appreciate, can we just go back and say that that was an abomination? But, okay, enough negativity. We are here to talk about a glorious new Megatron design, the Transformers One Megatron. I am so happy with the way that this guy looks. And not just the way he looks, but the way he was portrayed in the film. These guys actually understand Transformers. These guys understand Megatron. Megatron is not supposed to be this mindless, savage, beast, even though he is a savage beast. He's not supposed to kind of just be this brainless monster of a villain. He's supposed to be calculated. He's supposed to be menacing. He's supposed to have sort of this backstory where he was a gladiator that rose from the pits, and he's a very street smart, intelligent villain. He's supposed to come off as intelligent. And it's not that D16 in this movie was any tactical specialist or anything like that, but I think they did lay the foundations for him to become Megatron quite nicely, and maybe we'll see him develop more of those tactical sort of war general skills now that he is Megatron, because they didn't really give him those characteristics in this first movie here, which again is fine. It's a choice that they made. Maybe they're going a different route, and like I said, I think the choices that they did make, they work very well. In my Optimus Prime video, I said that, Megatron's transition from D16 to sort of Megatron was a little abrupt, right? We see him as they're walking on the surface, they're looking for the Matrix and stuff like that, and they have the directions on that little hologram, and D16 decides to snatch it from Orion, and they have that little moment of darkness there, where, D16's like, hey, dude, back the fuck off. I'm taking watch of this thing now. And I just feel like that was a little abrupt, but I feel like it requires a bit of analysis to actually appreciate that moment and be like, you know what? This does make sense. It wasn't too abrupt. Number one, okay, they only had an hour and 40 minutes to tell this story. Number two, they're trying to make sure that the younger audience members are being kept in the loop as well and are not going to be confused by all of these more complex emotional plot points and stuff like that. So they really did hyperbolize everybody's emotions a bit in this film, which is fine. It works good. And when you step back and consider everything that just freaking happened to this guy, I mean, the person that he idolizes the most in this world is basically Hitler, and he just found out, and he's like, holy crap, this is fucking infuriating. I want to kill this guy, you know what I mean? And it works as a really good antithesis to Optimus Prime, who's that very pure of heart, kind of heroic figure. It works as a great antithesis to show, especially the younger audience members, like, hey, there's going to be shitty things that happen to you, and it's going to be possibly from the people that you look up to the most. And, there's going to be those people who decide to kind of fall to the dark side because of it, Don't be that guy. Be like Optimus. Don't be like Megatron. You know what I mean? That's kind of the overarching lesson that's being taught here. A very simple one, but a very necessary one, and one that's told very well in this case. And once he does become Megatron, once he really does just cave into that darkness, it is truly heartbreaking to, sort of witness this man just sort of destroy himself from the inside out, as, Optimus tries to save him all the way up into the last minute and, tries to give him the benefit of the doubt. You saw throughout the whole movie how close their bond was and how they're always supposed to have each other's backs. And, Optimus really stuck true to that. And D16 Megatron didn't. He kind of went back on his word. He let Optimus fall into the pit of the Allspark. Thank God he did, because then we actually got Optimus. But, that decision in and of itself, from a psychological standpoint, was very fucked up and just kind of a heartbreaking moment. And that's when you truly realize, like, you witness somebody kind of accept the fact that they've let themselves go, and they just let themselves fall deeper and deeper and deeper. And they're like, all right, they're making that conscious choice. You know, we witnessed Megatron make that conscious decision in that moment to be like, you know what? I'm kind of teeter-tottering on the line this past hour or so. I'm fucking committed now. I'm going full in. You know what I'm saying? And he made that choice in that moment, letting Prime fall down to the Allspark. So when you pair these two guys up and you watch their journey side by side throughout the movie, and you see the two opposite paths they take in their own head. You know, they're going literally on the same physical journey with each other. And in their own minds, they're taking two completely different paths, two opposite yin and yang paths. And now, in this continuity, in this timeline, in this new Transformers One universe, as the audience, we understand what led Megatron to be so dark and full of rage. You know what I mean? It's sort of like in Star Wars when we go back and we see the prequel series come out in 2000s, and now everybody understands why Darth Vader was Darth Vader. We see him go from this bright, cheerful young boy, full of hope and optimism, basically, to this dark, evil monster, you know, by the time of the original trilogy. And when you see and, you know, sort of soak in everything that happened to this guy leading up to that moment where he made that transition, it makes sense because of a well-told story and because of the fact that they understand, you know, hey, not every villain is just this mindless beast with, you know, no explanation to it. In some of the live action movies, we do hear that, you know, Prime and Megatron once fought like brothers and, you know, they were side by side and millions of years ago, blah, blah, blah. But we never see it. We never hear anything about it. And we never even get any moments of Megatron being tactical, really, in the least bit. He's just kind of full of rage and just wants to just destroy. That's the only mode that he has. And in the G1 continuity and a lot of the animated series, Transformers Prime, the Netflix Transformers series, I think, did an excellent job with Megatron. You guys got to check that out. The Netflix Transformers series, Transformers War for Cybertron. There's 3 parts to it: Siege, Earthrise, and the final one, I always forget the name. But I think it's Beast Wars or something, maybe. But you guys have to check that series out. Megatron in that series, that's how Megatron should fucking be, baby. I mean, he's badass. He's menacing. You're literally terrified of the guy. And that series, by the way, is not really made for a younger audience. It's animated and stuff like that, but it's even the color schemes and stuff are just darker, more muted colors, not very saturated. You can tell by some of the choices they made that it's not quite for kids, especially with the way that Megatron behaves and stuff in that series. And this new Transformers Megatron kind of looks like that one as well. Original G1 inspired design. His face in this new Transformers 1 is a bit different. The helmet's a bit different, but it still looks and feels like Megatron still works. It's just a slight variation of what it was in G1. And very similar to Optimus Prime, they really just kind of upscaled everything that was beautiful and refined about the G1 design. The proportions are perfect. The chest is perfect. The legs are kind of very dominant in Megatron's design. He's always supposed to have kind of these big tree trunk type of legs. And I think that they kind of carried that over very nicely to this design without overdoing it. And it just works very well. His chest looks good. His shoulders look great. The helmet looks fantastic. And the proportions are spot on. The cannon looks good too. And just a real big kudos to all the writers and stuff behind this movie that really understand Megatron's character and that he's not supposed to be this savage, mindless monster, but he's actually a much more calculated, tactical villain that's quite intelligent and makes some pretty sick and disgusting twisted choices just because of the way that he sees the world. He thinks that things, you know, have to be this way. And especially in the Netflix series, we really get to see a glimpse of that where, you know, Megatron is telling Prime that, look, you know, I'm harvesting literal souls with this machine for their energon to power my ship that's going to get us off of our dying planet thanks to you, Prime. You know what I mean? And that's the way he really genuinely sees things. He doesn't just see it that he's this mindless, you know, killer. And he even says to Shockwave in that series at some point, like, dude, Shockwave, like, I envy you for having no emotion, you know, because Megatron does something really fucked up. And he doesn't, you know, he never cries or kind of sulks about or regrets his actions for the most part. He kind of just moves past and does the next fucked up thing. But he does have a moment where he says to Shockwave, like, yo, I'm jealous that you have no emotion because this shit really does kind of fuck me up sometimes, you know? And you see that and you really go, oh, wow, Megatron isn't just this mindless beast, you know what I mean? And Transformers 1 is doing their own thing, but they are encapsulating that. And that's what I really appreciate about this new Megatron, as well as the perfect design physically. Are you happy with the new Megatron design? Do you feel like there's something missing from it? And do you feel like they portrayed, you know, a true Megatron well in this film? Do you like the live action Megatron better? Do you like this one? Do you like G1? Let me know in the comments down below who's your favorite Megatron and who you want to see me break down from the Transformers 1 movie next. We've done Optimus, Bumblebee, and now Megatron. Thinking next maybe is going to be Starscream, guys. So let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.